Today I'm in Pocahontas, Arkansas at the St. Paul the Apostle Catholic Church. The church has been around for nearly 100 years and still stands as an iconic symbol for my hometown. Father Seidel arrived in Pocahontas in 1898. Soon after arriving, he realized that there was a great need for a large church building for the many practicing Catholic families in the area. While there is not much information to be found on where Father Seidel obtained his architectural skills, it is believed that he based the structural plans for the church off of other surrounding churches. One of the unique things about this church is the fact that the materials used to build most of the church came from surrounding areas. For instance, the rock used to build the structure came from local quarries. Not all the materials could be found nearby though. The stained glass windows had to be imported. The location of where the windows came from is unknown. While there is a service going on inside, other imported materials are located in there, including the Carrara marble from Italy that was used to create the altar and sanctuary rail. Much of the labor was donated to build this church by local families who plan to attend it in the future. St. Paul the Apostle Catholic Church holds a strong religious value to the community of Pocahontas. The church allows for worshipers to feel closer to God. Things such as the stained glass windows that surround the church depict different stories from the Bible. This allows people to have the feeling they are within the Word of God. Also, when someone from Pocahontas identifies themselves as Catholic, they also identify themselves as a member of St. Paul. This religious value allows for a closer connection to God and a sense of identification with the church and the people who attend it. Light and color have significant meaning within the church. The stained glass windows allow for there to be different hues in the church at different times. When the sun is bright and fully lighting up the windows, a wide array of colors with intensity can be seen. The colors used in the window panes set the mood for the story being depicted. For example, the colors red used in the depiction of the crucifixion of Jesus. The use of red sends a message of pain or danger that depicts a color of blood, giving the viewer of the window a sense of what is happening to Jesus. St. Paul's contains many examples of iconography and iconology. The many stained windows depict different stories from the Bible. While there are no words used in the depictions, it is clear which story is being told. This is an example of iconography. The churchgoers know the Bible well enough to be able to identify the stories through pictures only. They can relate biblical text to what is being seen. While there are individual stained glass window depictions, they all belong together as one whole. All of the windows are bringing together the many stories of the Bible. The relationship between the windows and the actual church building represents something bigger. They represent the worship place of God. This is an example of iconology. The collection of the marble altar, crosses, windows, and the building itself complete each other by making... The building itself is very Romanesque, reflecting 11th and 12th century buildings. The exterior of the church contains stone walling and is very thick. There is a belfry located above the crossing where the congregation is held. Southwest of the belfry and the crossing is the ambulatory where the choir is held. While the churches are not identical, you can see very many similarities between the floor plans of St. Paul's and St. Germain-des-Prés. St. Germain-des-Prés is an 11th century church that was built during a time when many people were pilgrims. Since many people saw this church, the idea and floor plan was rebuilt in a similar manner, keeping those basic structures alive. St. Germain-des-Prés and many other similar churches helped influence the building of St. Paul's, even after hundreds of years. The stained glass windows of the church are Romanesque as well, but with a Gothic influence. In Romanesque, Father Seidel followed very closely along the ideas of neoclassicism when creating St. Paul the Apostle Catholic Church. During the time period when the church was being built, Impressionism still had a strong influence on many pieces of art and buildings. Even though Impressionism was still around, Father Seidel stuck with the original Romanesque-like structure of many other Catholic churches in the surrounding area and from hundreds of years before. He built the church off of first-hand observations and stuck with a more classical look, which is basic principles of neoclassicism. Without these principles, St. Paul's would not be the historical Romanesque church that it is today. My name is Elizabeth Brown, and I chose St. Paul the Apostle Catholic Church as my work of art as it symbolizes my hometown of Pocahontas, Arkansas. The strong structure symbolizes the strength of our community and also portrays the foundation of what our town is based off of, which is the belief of God. I wouldn't have the structure built any other way because it wouldn't mean what it does to this town.